Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, Naomi.
Hello.
What time you get back to work?
I know, right? Quit slacking.
Anyways, I hope your trip was okay
It
and you
was
had a good time.
awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Well, right now I'm in Winnipeg region, of course, at the Polo Park Inns, and where they're having their treaty consultations happening here.
Mhm.
And it's a packed house. It's one of the biggest regional gatherings I've seen in a hell of a long time.
Uh-huh.
And there's also people joining, I think, I would say, internet world, virtual world.
Mhm.
There's about 100 also watching from there, and there's about 400 probably inside the room here. So nice big crowd, excellent crowd. So anyways, we had a chance to talk about the reflection of the self-government agreement that we signed in 2021 on July 6th, which officially declared without question that the Métis of the Red River, the MMF, is the government of the Red River Métis people, no matter where they live. So it sets the foundation, again, of us. Or the next step we're doing right now is the treaty. And, of course, people, again, made it very clear to people, the treaty does not make you First Nation, or you fall under the realm of First Nation. There's many treaties with First Nations. There's also treaties with other countries. And this is a particular treaty directly with the Red River Métis. So we're looking forward to educating our people, advising them of the change and reflection of how it will affect their future, and for the better at the same time, of course,
Mhm.
and how it'll commit and enforce the country of Canada to finally do the right thing. So these are important times in our history as a Métis. Of course, there's also the reverse side where the First Nations are pushing, negotiating themselves potentially out of the Indian Act, which again dominates the system
Mhm.
of control by federal government over First Nations. And their bands across Canada today are negotiating their treaty like ours, the MMF, freeing themselves under the Indian Act and then becoming their own and control of their own destiny in the sense of having full control of their assets, owning their own assets and moving forward with their priorities and agendas. So that sets the foundation for the First Nations. It's good to see that's happening at the same time as ours. And we'll be the first Métis Water Day Treaty to hit Canada and hit the world. So it's something that is very important to us. And our history goes, of course, way back, hundreds of years. With the Red River Métis, we're really bringing the Northwest into Confederation. And, of course, that was truly denied by John A. Macdonald. And at the end, it was only the postage stamp that was allowed and not the Northwest. And by that time, the provinces already were taking control and taking over the aspect. I just seen an article, well, actually a news article that came out of Saskatchewan, where the province of Saskatchewan now is challenging the federal government under the Natural Resource Transfer Act, it's called, and where, again, the provinces did not have full jurisdiction until the 1930s, but they're moving again. They want more control of natural resources, and they're moving under a certain legislation to challenge the federal government on that. So that they have full control now as a province, and I think First Nations are going to be moving forward quickly into the courthouses, and I understand there's some other opposition from different organizations. So it's good to see that people are pushing the agenda, making very clear that Indigenous people still have Section 35 rights, must be protected. The same goes for us here. We're pushing some of the issues regarding mining that's coming up. Not that we're opposed to mining directly, nor, like, for example, Lake St. Martin diversion, we're not opposed to that.
Right.
The issue is we need to make sure we do it right. And our big concern is how does it impact the fisheries, how does it impact communities, how does it impact the longevity of the economics of it, for example, fisheries. When you start playing with the opportunity of one big lake to another big lake and opening up that crossway, there's potential of foreign species going in from one area to another, or more dominant fish species moving in from one lake to another and damaging the fishing industry in the long run. You may not see it the first year, but you'll see it 10, 20 years from now. And so we have to make sure we do it right. So the unfortunate part is we never got proper consultations, and that's where we're still pushing hard with Canada. And to hold back, because they're looking about giving close to $500 million into Canada, to Manitoba to build a diversion. I know Peguis is concerned too regarding their flooding. So we're trying to find a balance between the First Nation, our concerns, the government's concerns, citizens of Manitoba's concerns. So there's going to be a balance everywhere. That's why these consultations are so vital. And no different than a treaty year, our consultations with our people are very vital. And people want to hear. And people are very excited about this new opportunity. You can see it in the crowd here. People coming and shaking my hand and want to take pictures. And they're part of history today. They're part of this. And these are locals that work very hard. I commend the locals not only here, I commend the locals throughout the province who have fought this fight with me. They've been here. They've been, the Federation has been here since 1967, and we're finally making it very clear that the governments are coming to terms that we're not going away and our government is going to be recognized, and so is our treaty. So these locals deserve a great applause from our nation of the Red River to say thank you for all the years of volunteering, year after year, election after election. They have done, of course, elections throughout, and these are volunteers. They work very, very hard because they believe so much in the cause, so much in their history, so much in their culture. We talked about identity theft, for example. It's still ongoing. We see that by individuals, but we also see greater advancements by groups, like, for example, the Métis Nation of Ontario. You look at their self-government agreement they signed. It's now apparently self-government. 2019 was a fake. It was not really self-government. It was a document that discussed self-government, but they told their people, we have self-government. And again, I repeat that to all listeners that I know listen in Alberta, listen in Saskatchewan, all these places. In 2019, when they were telling you they had a self-government, they did not. Now they're twisting the words a little bit, saying, well, we didn't really say that. Of course you said it. You said it publicly everywhere. You actually went to court with that argument, and you lost. So when you look again now at this whole premise of where things are going, I think it's important to recognize that we have to, in the Red River, we will defend our citizens no matter where they live and work with them as we move forward and in advancing, the opportunities and benefits will come. Like we talked about child welfare legislation, Bill 92, which Federal Canada passed in Parliament. That whole segment of Bill 92 is actually going to find itself under our treaty, which then becomes more permanency in the future of our what rules under our government, our jurisdiction, and our authorities. So that means that Canada cannot just stop a relationship like that. There's going to have to be discussions and negotiations and long-term investments for permanency. Same thing with housing. We're negotiating housing ongoing right now, and the longevity of how housing is essential. You hear First Nations talking about tens of thousands of houses behind, even hundreds of thousands of houses behind. Well, Métis just finally got housing, so we imagine how far we are behind, but we're catching up slowly, day by day, month by month, and year by year. So, but the point of that is that we need to build these supplement agreements into our treaty, and the same thing with health legislation. That's going to be a big one. We've been advised by Canada now that by 2024 this negotiation will commence. I still think that's too far away. I think we need to push that agenda faster. So also our cabinet, just for our citizens out there listening, the 60 Scoop survivors that are out there, and also the day school survivors of the Métis, our cabinet is authorized now that we will move legally if we have to now. We've waited long enough and given the government long enough to sit down and come to the negotiating table, because every time we start negotiations, which that was the process of how we were going to get our settlement, a court case comes, and another court case, and they keep on going, so they end up saying we can't talk. So we have no choice. If they don't want to talk without the court case, then we are going to talk by actually doing our own lawsuit. So that's been instructed to our lawyers to move on that. I know why cats take big size when I'm talking on the radio. But anyways, so I'm moving forward. I look forward to looking on the agenda for people listening out there. Just know that your government is going to take action. I'm actually meeting with Minister Miller on Monday. I will be talking to Mr. Miller about this particular issue that that the system itself and by their inaction is forcing the Métis, the Red River, to go to court to defend their 60 Scoop survivors. People are passing on, and they're not seeing justice done to the harm that was done to them, and yet there's others getting settlements because of these class action lawsuits. And what we were trying to do in partnership with agreement with Canada is negotiate instead of litigate. But it's taking way too long, so we've now instructed we will move then into the courthouse as necessary. So I think what's important to recognize is that, as we move forward with these treaties and these negotiations, a lot of these things probably wouldn't find itself in that degree. If the treaty was already there, Canada would probably be at the table right away instead of after the fact. And so would the provinces have better understanding with respect to how they damage so much of our families and our children. So again, it leads to that point where we need to move on these agendas before people leave us in this world and move ahead. So we have some good news too. Is I got out of the airplane on Thursday, came across the CEO Nick Hayes, and I want to thank him. I hope he's listening on our show. He's actually the new CEO of the Winnipeg Airport Authority. And now when you get off the plane in Winnipeg, you'll see some some hard work by Jean Tai. I'm sorry, Jean. I have a hard time. Janine. Yeah, my
Janine?
accent. Here's my accent again. Unbelievable. It comes to haunt me. Janine Crouchy, of course, the great famous Janine Crouchy. She's going to kill me now. But she, of course, has her beading done there. I actually have a couple of beads she let me put in there, and there's a little blue bead. If everybody comes across the millions of beads there, mine's that little blue one mixed with the white. So anyways, I made a mistake, and she just let it leave it. Anyways, but it's beautiful. You'll see of course, the real government at the time in 1870, and then you'll see on the other side some of our history and a collection of our beadwork. And
I actually took a picture of it when I came out of the airport the other night. Yeah, I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, when I was talking to Nick there in front of the picture, a lady came up and gave me basically a high five. She was so proud as a Métis to see that. She's got off the plane herself. And then we had Robert Pronto Jr. He was standing there. I seen a gentleman standing there. He was looking at the thing, but he stood in the side after. And I was, okay, so as I finished my meeting with Nick, I moved on. He shook my hand, introduced himself. His name is Robert Pronto Jr. I know his family well. Mm-hmm. He actually has worked for the rail line for now 43 years. So he works out in British Columbia. He retired, and they called him out because he's been in the rail line for 40 years when he retired with the rail line. They call him out as a consultant to go out and work. So, and I tell you, man, he's got some kind of magic because he did not look 60 years old. He looked like he was 40. So I don't know what kind of medicine they use up north there. Maybe bear grease or something, because he looked damn young, if you ask me. But he was 60 years old, and I'm very proud to hear his history of. He's got a pension now. He's worked all his life, and his family is hard trappers, and they work hard up north there. So, again, Robert Pronto, if you're listening, Junior, it was a pleasure meeting you, and you make me very proud. Also, another one that makes me very proud is Carrie Enerson. She's out, of course, going to be defending in the world in Sweden, and I'm looking forward to her and looking to our Métis flag that'll be on their knees. When they're curling, you'll be able to see the Métis emblem flag on their knees. I'll be proud. We should all be proud of that. As Manitobans, Canadians, and proud to be seeing the Métis our Métis flag on their knees. They're sliding across that ice, and I hope she comes. She came with bronze last time. Hope she comes back with the gold.
I hope so.
Either way, she's there to represent us, and we also have Desiree and Robin are out there. You'll see the flag in the audience, and we're showing support to Carrie Enerson that the Métis government supports her, and I look forward to our logo being advertised worldwide now. So. That's a good one. So, again, kudos to you out there, Gary. And then we got some birthdays I want to get rid of, not quickly on the way, because I got some other stuff I got to report on. But let's start off with the birthday going out to Angie Fiddler, who was celebrating her birthday on Sunday. Doesn't tell me the age, but her name is Angela Fiddler. Happy birthday, Angela. And then happy 82nd birthday to Norman Furry, who was celebrating his birthday on Tuesday, March 21. I was there when his mom celebrated her 100th birthday, and she was up to 105, I believe. And happy birthday is going out to Landon and Catherine Lortou. Of course, that's Tree and Byron's twins. Mm-hmm. So they're celebrating their 11th birthday on Tuesday, March 21. So, of course, we'll be spoiling them. She's also another big-time fighter on respecting religion and culture. Just for people, Lent is a time when a lot of people decide to cut off certain things. I sacrificed. I would not longer take pop. And no drinks whatsoever, no drink, no pop, no chips, no bars, no candy. So for 40 days and 40 nights, I have to suffer now looking at everybody drinking a pop around the table, even at home. Uh-huh. But Tree actually took off all takeout orders to restaurants.
Oh,
She'll not eat from a restaurant or takeout, so she has to bring her own sandwiches, her own lunch, and she's holding strong. Dustin Paston in my office, he cut off red meat, so he's not taking red meat. So that's great to see. I know that April cut off breakfast, like nothing to eat till after 12. So there's a task. I don't know what Kat quit. She never told me she quit anything. She was talking smart, but I don't know. Oh yeah, she quit bacon, only one item. So often you get bacon, not too often either. So that's easy one to quit, right? Anyways, but she's got to do it for 40 days and 40 nights. Also, I want to say get well wishes to John Lee. We miss him. He'll be here at the consultation already. For sure, he'd be standing here somewhere, shaking hands, or smiling face, and but he's fighting a health issue right now, and we pray he gets out of there and gets home safe back to our government and be there to assist us when we need him and assist the people. And we need to make sure we send prayers. We have a chance to send prayers his way. You know, this morning I got introduced by Denise Thomas, introduced me to a guy named Robert Sanderson. He had a gift for me. It actually is a beautiful gift. It's a Winnipeg Free Press article dated July 1970. It was a celebration of 100 years. And throughout the entire front page of it is all about Métis history. You'll see it in the museum. It's created. It's called the Manitobac. It was created in 1870. 100 years later, and you'll see our people in hunting buffalo, Redford cart, and it's really well done. It's a larger size paper. And but you'll see this eventually in the our Heritage Center that's being built right now. So Robert Sanderson, and I hope your family's listening. He's in the meeting. You probably can't hear me, but I want to say thank you very much. He kept it for 53 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 53 years ago he had this paper, and he kept it. So, and he's going to donate to our museum, so our Heritage Center that way. So, again, I'm proud that our citizens take great passion and care for something that's very, very important to them. So. I want to thank Robert for managing this for 53 years, and now we're going to put it where it belongs. So also today's a mental, it says metal here, it's Mental Health Summit for Elders and Youth. I'm sure it's not about mining. It's Mental Health Summit for Elders and Youth featuring the Métis Mobile Clinic in Dauphin. And I seen there was an article in Steinbach when the clinic was out there. Of course, we have 2 vans that go around our province. And they take blood testing, sugar to make sure you get up-to-date vaccines. And they also do other reports. There's nurses. These are actually RNs that are traveling. And, of course, RNs today have greater authorities and powers when it comes to support. And we're also trying to find if we can help different ways and people are suffering mental and physical health at the same time. Also, I want to say Francis sent me some pictures out for Roblin. Kudos to Roblin Local for hosting Coffee House on Friday. So it was great to see and a lot of those pictures. And kudos again, Roblin. As a local, you always make us proud. And same thing with these locals here in the city. They have such a great ingenuity. As I said a few weeks ago in the show, Kenya Local, I think, was taking young kids to go out and fish in the river. Yeah. It just shows you the different things they do and the impact it makes on families. And for those, again, to remind everybody, we're going to have our upcoming youth camp this year, and we're pushing hard to get that done. And so I want people to contact your regions, get your kids' names in there, get their ages and trust, and tell me if you need blankets, if you don't have sleeping bags and things of that nature, you just get hold of the region, put their name in, we'll take care of that. So don't worry about those kind of things. I just want to make sure your kid's going to have a good time. So I don't know how long the sessions will probably be a week at a time, and they're doing a variety of things that they will be setting up in camp. There's going to be boys and girls. And, of course, they're hiring right now. People are looking in that field. They will be hiring different kids and youth counselors to work with the children that will be there. So get ready. These will be, of course, all adults, and they'll all be hired, and they're all certified and trained. And we will definitely do, because people sometimes get scared of these camps. And I'm no different as a grandparent. So I want to make sure that the people we hired are, everything's checked on their background, et cetera, and make sure that the child out there, the safety is number one for that child, and to make sure they have a hell of a good time and a memory that they can always remember they leave there. So that camp's going to be set up I anticipate by June, or Dustin passes in big trouble. So anyways, we're working on that as we move forward to organize that, and I just want people to start signing up now so we get a good handle among the age groups, the children that are signing, where they're coming from. It's a province-wide youth camp, and I just want to make sure that, as I said, it'll be running throughout to the fall, and even might go into winter, but we'll see. This year, I think it's going to go to summer to fall, and then after that, we might have a seasonal camp. We also, of course, own some property now in Pine Dock. That camp is going to be open, I anticipate, also by spring forward. And what I mean by that is that we have 4 cabins there in a house. And right now we have Alfred Lee was watching over a house. I think Alfred, I hope he's listening, out there in Pine Dock. But those cabins will be open for rent, and people can go out fishing, eagle watching, bird watching, caves. There's all types of things you can see in the beautiful area of Pine Dock. It's about 2.5 hours from Winnipeg, but it's something you could think about. We used to have wintertime skidoos going through there, and staying for a week and then doing winter fishing and so forth, and not with a high soul. And of course, don't forget for people listening, I'm going to actually go out and do some ice fishing myself if I get a chance. My calendar is so packed, but I know I have to go to the Paw. So when I go to the Paw, I'm trying to do a couple of days or at least one day of ice fishing, and while I'm out there for the treaty consultations. Now, don't forget next Saturday for people listening up north, Thompson's coming up on Saturday, treaty consultations, and make sure you come out and attend. If you can't make your way there, you can join us by internet world, of course, virtual world, and we do support you financially to get out there. So contact July the Lodge's office right away and tell the Vice President. President said there was a meeting happening, and I want to be there for the treaty consultation. So if I can't get out there, I have no money. You got to help me with this getting some gas in my vehicle and get me there. So all the people up north there, try to get at the meeting. I think it's going to be important. By the way, Dave, I want to say Daly out in Churchill, great interview this morning. So he was doing an interview about Churchill. Mm-hmm. Proud he's a Métis up there. He has dog teams. And, of course, he does a lot of business. He was actually taking a tour out there. And they're in a Times Magazine as one of the places to be in the world. So because of the aurora, of course, the polar bears, and they have the beluga whales, and on and on. They have all types of birds and all types of vegetation, plants, ecosystems are perfect. So, again, for the Métis business out there, kudos to you, and keep on promoting the hard worker that you are and the hard-working institutions we run as Métis. And definitely as Métis business people, I'm very, very proud of you. So we are going to look into Churchill. So people listening out in Churchill, we are looking at the investment into Churchill in the future. I know we have an office out in Churchill, but I still believe that Churchill is a port of the future. And I think we need to look at how do we prepare ourselves for that growth if it comes. I know that sometimes it'll scare people with new developments and a booming of the economy, because at one time the Army was there and the military, and that was a very, very busy place. The port was very busy, but now it sort of went right down. And thank God for these entrepreneurs, these Métis entrepreneurs also who work so hard to bring tourism there. So Dave and the rest of the team out there, kudos to all of you. So again, as I said, I'll give you a report next week. My meetings, and I'm flying out tomorrow. After this meeting, I'm flying back to Ottawa, meetings on Monday. And then from there, I'm going to Toronto. I've got a couple meetings there. And then from there, I'm flying back home. And then I got meetings in Treeherne. So, of course, it's a camp we own, and we're going to be out there. We have an economic conference happening there with our team, and we're looking at all of our assets. I think I was giving a brief. We have about 220 or something assets that we have purchased. Mm-hmm. That's houses, buildings, and so forth. So we're looking at all of those process of property management, oversight, and the list goes on and on and on. So, but we're looking at the economic. We have an announcement to be making with the minister soon. I'm very proud of that. So, Danny Vendel, I hope you're listening and keep up the hard work. And I look forward to that announcement to be made between myself and the minister very, very soon. And at the same time, we're looking at continuing to look at all of our businesses. There's hundreds and hundreds and over 600 businesses, Métis businesses in this province, and we're pushing that. By the way, farmers and ranchers and all those in the particular field, I want to thank you for working so hard, but I'm so grateful to Dave Boudon, the minister, and also Marcy Riel and the rest of the team. I think they're issuing checks today for these ranchers and farmers that are reaching out and getting the grant we were able to negotiate with Canada. Some are getting $75,000 a grant. That's non-repayable. You don't have to pay it back. Wow. And so it's to help the farmer and the rancher, whether it's grazing, making new fences, helping them during this challenging time of COVID and the after effects of it. So with that being said, again, keep on, if you didn't apply yet, make sure you apply. And all those that are listening for the supplement programs, if you're an elder, you can get up to $100 a month. That's from October, starting in October. And this program now, I understand from the Minister of Finance, it can go all the way to June. Our cabinet approved it already. And so we're going to give $100 to our elders, $75 to our college and university students. This is to help them over and above our support we already give them. This is to help them the higher cost of food and so forth. A family with one child can apply. They'll get $125, and if you have two children, you get $150. And so it's out there, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. I think the post-secondary education, I think there's 900 students that are applied for $75 already. So plus whatever supports we're giving them.
Right.
So I'm very proud to see the reaction and the people in the crowd today. I asked about it, and a lot of hands knew about the program. And so it is good to see that it's out there. I know when I'm traveling to other regions, they're so supportive and so proud of the supplement program, given the cost of high food today. And it's hard on children because now you can't eat some of the more nutritious food you have because you're setting aside, you can't afford it.
Right.
So that extra $100 helps a lot. And it's not a check; it's actually a voucher. And the reason we did it so it's non-taxable. And at the same time, it shouldn't have no effect on your EIA if you're on EIA.
Mm-hmm.
I understand there was a complaint made. So our listeners out there, just in case you are worried, there was a complaint made by one of the social workers, I guess. So basically, not child welfare. I'm talking. I'll use the word welfare. Mm-hmm. That's what was known by all of us then when I was growing up. Yeah. That's called EIA now today, saying that if you get a $100 hamper, you'll be deducted from that. I'll check with the premier on that. I doubt that very much. I think a bureaucrat is making a big mistake trying to threaten our people. They get a support from our government that they're going to deduct them $100 from a welfare check, or a CEIA check, and I'm sure that's a big mistake. And I'll talk to the premier. I'll text her out this weekend and get a response quickly from her. If that's the case, then there's going to be hell and high water coming between us and the minister and the government if they try to tax our people and punish our people for the challenging time they're facing today, and our government trying to support them. So with that being said, I'll say see you guys. I'll be in Thompson next Saturday. I'm sure you're not going to be traveling for a while again, unless you won the lottery. You never told me about it. And,
I have some travel coming up for work, but I'm trying to work around it. So
okay. With that being said, I'll talk to you guys next Saturday again. To our elders, thank you very much. Always be being there. This morning I talked about our white hairs in the crowd, and always being there, decade after decade, fighting for the right cause of the Métis Nation, guiding us at the same time. And to our youth, I truly want to say how inspired I am to so many students we have today in colleges, universities, all becoming professionals to guide us in the future, but at the same time being proud of who we are. I told the people today, and I'll tell the people listening, we will always defend our identity. We'll let no one come and steal our identity now. We suffered for centuries now, and to get where we are, and now these people are coming, speaking our flags, our beadwork, our music, our dance, and calling themselves Métis. So go get your damn one culture. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys next Saturday. Take care, everybody.
All right. Thanks,
okay,
David. Bye.
Bye-bye.